All right, welcome back, everyone. So we've spent some time digging into the theory, the principles, and all the nitty-gritty parameters. But today? Today is when we roll up our sleeves and actually put it all to work. It's time to go from just knowing the theory to really mastering the craft of prompting.
So I want you to think about this for a second. You've got the tools, right? You've got context, constraints, chain of thought, all that good stuff. But, a pile of awesome tools sitting on a workbench doesn't automatically build a masterpiece. So the real question, the one that matters, is what are you going to build with them? This, right here, is where the craftsman's journey really kicks off.
I mean, think about it. Just knowing the name of a chisel doesn't make you a carpenter, right? The real skill, the artistry, is in knowing how to use those tools together in harmony. And that's exactly what we're doing today. We're bridging that gap between theory and practice, turning all that knowledge you've picked up into tangible, high-quality, practical results.
Okay, so how do we actually do that? How do we get there? Well, here's the secret. It's not about hunting for a dozen more fancy secret techniques. Nope. The real path to expertise is learning how to layer the tools you already have, but doing it deliberately and skillfully. It's all about combining them with a clear purpose in mind.
And hey, let's be real. Your toolkit is already pretty stacked. Seriously, look at this. You already know how to provide context, you know how to use keywords, apply constraints, you can adopt personas, you iterate, you can even guide the AI's whole chain of thought. These are your chisels, your saws, your hand planes. And yeah, they're powerful by themselves, for sure. But when you start using them together, that's when things get truly transformative.
Because let's face it, the goal isn't just to get any old answer from the AI, it's to get the right answer. The one that's like 90% of the way there and doesn't require a ton of heavy editing from you. It's about shifting from just hacking away at a rough block of wood to intentionally carving a beautiful finished piece.
All right, let's get into our first principle of the craft. And it is a simple one, but it is absolutely crucial. Always start with purpose. Before you even type a single word of your prompt, you have to know why you're asking and who this output is for. Let's see exactly what I mean with a perfect example. The case of the lifeless wooden bowl.
Okay, so you throw a super simple, totally context-free prompt at the AI, something like, write a description for a cherry wood bowl, and you get this. I mean, sure, it's technically accurate, but it is just completely soulless, isn't it? There's no character, no warmth. It doesn't make you feel anything or want to buy the bowl. It's just a list of facts. This is exactly the kind of problem we need to solve.
Now check out the difference here. On the one hand, you have the bland prompt, it's just the basic request. But then look at the crafted prompt on the right. It is doing so much more work. It's layering in the brand's whole vibe, sustainability, craftsmanship. It's injecting powerful keywords like artisanal. You see, it's starting with purpose.
And boom, this is the result. The output is completely transformed. It's not just a boring description anymore, it's a story. It actually connects with the kind of person who would buy this bowl, someone who cares about where things come from. And it all happened because we started with a clear purpose and gave the AI that rich, juicy context it needed to really shine.
Okay, that was awesome. Let's build on that with our second principle. Build the blueprint. This is all about you taking control of the structure of the output. You're going to use specificity and constraints to tell the AI exactly how you want the information organized. And there's no better example for this than trying to make sense of a long, chaotic meeting.
Oh man, we've all been here, right? You've got pages and pages of rambling meeting notes. You feed them to an AI and say, summarize this. And what do you get back? Basically a shorter, but still confusing, wall of text. It's not actionable. The key decisions are buried somewhere in paragraph 3. The action items are who knows where. What you need is a blueprint for clarity. So here's the game changer. You provide that blueprint directly in the prompt. Instead of just a lazy summarize this, you instruct the AI. Tell it, structure the output with these exact headings: key decisions, action items, major topics. You can even tell it to use bullet points. You're not limiting the AI here, you're guiding it. You're turning a hot mess of a document into a sharp, focused, and totally actionable tool.
And that brings us to our third and final principle. And honestly, this might be the most important part of any craft, the finishing process. You gotta sand and polish your work. This means learning to love iteration. Seriously. It's not a sign that you failed, it's the final, critical step that separates the good from the great.
Let's circle back to our wooden bowl for a second. Remember that awesome, rich description we got? It was fantastic, but, it was actually a little much, a bit too poetic, a little flowery.
maybe a little over the top. It was a great first draft, but it wasn't perfect. It needed a little refinement.
And this is what that refinement process looks like. The first draft was good, but it had a flaw. So what was the fix? Did we have to scrap the whole prompt and start over? No way. It was a small, precise tweak. The constraint was changed from just poetic to something more nuanced, grounded but evocative. See that? That one tiny change was the final bit of polish it needed. That, right there, is iteration in action.
Okay, let's wrap this all up into a neat package. This is the Craftsman's workflow. 1. Start with purpose. Give it context and a persona. 2. Build the blueprint. Use specificity and constraints to define the structure. And 3. Sand and polish. Use iteration to refine it until it's perfect. That's it. That is your repeatable process for getting amazing results every single time.
So if there's one thing you take away from this, let it be this. Stop thinking about prompting as just typing a question into a box. Start seeing it for what it is, a craft, a real skill. It takes intention, it takes practice. But the good news is, with the tools and the workflow we just covered, you are the craftsman. You're fully equipped to shape the AI's output to match your exact vision.
So now that you're honing your skills as a craftsman, the next logical question is, where's the workshop? Where do you do the work? Well, that's what we're tackling next time. We are going to explore the best tools, the best platforms, and the best interfaces out there. Basically, the digital workbenches where you can really put your craft into practice. You don't want to miss it. I'll see you then.